All right, let's talk about something that's happening right under our noses. It's this quiet revolution that is completely reshaping what a job even means. And no, it's not about hybrid work or some new app. This is way, way bigger. So let's get into it.
So let me just start by asking you this. What if your next promotion didn't just depend on hitting your targets, but on the health of the planet? Sounds a little like science fiction, right? Well, it's actually becoming our reality, and a lot faster than you might think.
For the longest time, sustainability was this thing that a tiny little team in the corner office handled. They were pretty isolated, and their main job was basically to put together the annual report. Well, that whole model, it's obsolete. The new reality is that ESG, that's environmental, social, and governance, is being woven into every single job, from the intern all the way up to the CEO.
And that brings us to the first big idea here. This shift isn't just some passing trend. It's not another corporate buzzword that'll be gone in a year. The actual fundamental rules of work and business are being completely rewritten as we speak. And honestly, it's happening whether companies are ready for it or not.
So you have to ask, what's pushing this massive change? It's not just investors or new regulations, although that's part of it. The single biggest driver is talent. It's us. Employees are demanding so much more from their employers, and it's forcing a total rethink of how companies have to operate.
I mean, think back just a handful of years. How did companies try to attract the best people? It was all about the perks.
That's right. The huge selling points were things like a ping pong table in the break room, free snacks, maybe a cool-looking office. That was the old playbook for winning talent.
But today, that playbook is completely out of date. The modern workforce is looking for something way more substantial. Today's professionals, and you see this especially with younger generations, they view their job as a piece of their identity. They want meaning. They want to feel like they're contributing to something. And they'll often prioritize that sense of purpose, even over a bigger paycheck. If companies don't get that, they are going to lose their best people. Period. And look, this isn't just a vibe or a feeling. The numbers absolutely back this up. This chart tells the story perfectly. You can see that companies with a really strong ESG proposition, they spend way less money on employee turnover. In a job market this competitive, having a purpose is a serious business advantage. Okay, so this pressure from employees is reshaping what we do all day, which brings us to our next major point. Every single job is becoming an ESG job, even if the title says something completely different. And this isn't just some abstract theory. Look at how it's playing out in the real world, across totally different departments. The finance team, they're now connecting emissions data to the company's financial value. HR is redesigning pay scales to make them more fair. The folks in procurement are negotiating with suppliers to cut carbon emissions. Legal now sees environmental compliance as a major risk, just like a lawsuit. And marketing, they're under a microscope to prove any green claims they make. So the big thing to understand here is that sustainability isn't just a new department you hire for. It's becoming what's called a transversal competency. Basically, it's a skill that makes you better at any job, kind of like how being digitally savvy makes you better at any job. And this has huge implications for your career, seriously. Just like you couldn't get by without basic computer skills in the last decade, in the decade ahead, climate fluency is becoming the new baseline for being employable. Now, this whole transformation isn't just happening on the ground floor, no way. It's going all the way up the corporate ladder, and it's totally redefining what it even means to be a leader. Just look at this table. It shows you everything. In the past, what got executives the big bonuses? Revenue, quarterly earnings, market share. But now, their compensation is being tied to things like hitting net zero targets, creating a more equal workforce, and making sure there are human rights in their supply chain. It's a seismic shift. So the high-performance executive of today needs this totally new blended skill set. Of course, they still need to be financially literate, but now that has to be paired with sustainability literacy, a real social awareness, and the ethical courage to make tough calls. A leader who can't deliver on both profit and principle is just not going to be considered fit for the job anymore. Okay, so what does all this add up to? What does success even look like in the future? Well, it means we have to redefine it, both for us as individuals and for companies as a whole. For decades, a successful career was pretty simple to measure: climbing the ladder, making more money. But that's changing. The new definition of a successful career is about your contribution. It's about having a measurable, positive impact. It's about doing work that you can actually be proud of. Here's a really great way to think about it. ESG is becoming the new invisible operating system for the entire world of work. Just like the OS on your phone or your computer, it runs in the background. It shapes every single decision, every process, and every outcome, even when you're not actively thinking about it. And when companies really lean into this, when they truly embrace it, they create this incredible self-reinforcing cycle, a real flywheel for success. It all starts with a genuine commitment to ESG values. That builds trust, which then attracts the best employees and more investment. And that, in turn, lowers their risk, sparks innovation, and ultimately leads to strong, resilient growth for the long term. So when you boil it all down, it comes to this one powerful idea. The future of work and the future of ESG, they aren't two different stories. They are one and the same. And that brings us full circle, right back to you. In a world where the very definition of success is being rewritten, the most important question you can ask is this: what does progress really mean for your career? What kind of impact do you want to have? Because the answer to that question, well, that's what will truly shape the future of work. Thanks for tuning in.